Welcome back to the ESA News Desk. I'm Sarah Panko. Joining me now, Mark McCracken. He is with the CALMAC portfolio of Trane. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start off. Tell us a little bit about CALMAC and what you do.
CALMAC is a manufacturer of thermal energy storage equipment, and we were purchased by Trane about a year ago. Thermal energy storage is a technology which makes a lot of ice at night, and then during the day you're melting the ice in order to air condition buildings, so you're shifting the electric load to nighttime. And now with renewables, a lot of that power is at night from wind or from solar, and so we can store the renewable energy and give it to the building when they need it.
Great. Any new technology or innovations that you can talk to us here about today?
Well, first, it's a little bit about understanding what we do. We're terming it thermal batteries now. It's easier for people to understand. And if you think about buildings, the only movable load in a building and easily storable is the thermal load. So we want to use thermal batteries for meeting the thermal loads in buildings and electrical batteries for meeting the electrical loads. As far as new innovations, yes, we've created a package which now makes it much simpler to adapt these systems to buildings.
Yeah. So let's talk about where the industry is now and where you see it going.
The energy storage industry is expanding, and it's expanding quickly, and it's going to be critical. I like to tell people that it's if we're going to get rid of fossil fuels, you have to realize that fossil fuels are a form of stored energy. And besides for the fossil fuels, there's no real stored energy on the grid. So we are going to be adding, as we replace fossil fuels with renewables, which is just the pure energy, we have to be adding a lot of energy storage, and it's going to be added to both sides of the electric meter. I see that growing dramatically, and it's the only way we're going to get to a low carbon grid.
And you'll be speaking here at ESA. Are these any of these things that you'll be talking about later on today?
Yes, I'm speaking in a session called Beyond Batteries, and there's going to be 4 different technologies which are basically showing that it's not just about electrical batteries, it's about thermal batteries and the way you can apply these things to the buildings in the field that are out there. Buildings are responsible for 70% of the electric usage. 40% of that electric usage in buildings is going towards the instantaneous creation of cooling on a hot summer day.
Yeah.
So it would not be a good idea to use a battery to run an air conditioning system that's instantaneously cooling. You might as well store that cooling and save the battery for electric loads.
Yeah, as you're mentioning, it's about being prepared and seeing what you need beforehand, right?
Exactly. I like to give an example of if you were going to throw a party, you would not think it's a good idea to start making the ice cubes for the party when people start walking in the door. We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out you only need 1 pound or 2 per person, but to air condition that person the next day, you need the equivalent cooling of 150 to 400 pounds of ice per person per day. So if it's ludicrous to wait around until people came for 1 or 2 pounds, why isn't it hundreds of times more ludicrous for people to act like they didn't know you're coming in buildings and then start using all this electricity during the day when it gets very expensive? So this practice is what's caused the problem with the grid, and now with the focus on storing energy and renewables, we can get rid of that electric load in buildings and put it at nighttime or when that power is available from renewables. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Lots of things on the horizon, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us here. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is the ESA News Desk.